Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development says wheat seeds looted in Jos are poisonous. Hoodlums break into several warehouses across the country as key players call for calm. And Governor Lalong reinstates 24-hour curfew in Plateau State. Good to have you join us on News Panorama. I am Felicia Dalio Samaila. Despite the reinstatement of 24-hour curfew in Jos South and North local government areas, residents of Dogon Duse woke up this morning with another experience of gunshot. Agricultural Development Program, PADP, shortly after people invaded the store and carted away bags of fertilizers and other farming implements. At the time of filing this report, security operatives are trying to contain the situation. Hoodlums have broken into several stores in Jos, housing palliatives, carting away bags of grains and other assorted items. Caleb Gochin reports that the development caused heavy traffic along the Jos-Bukuru highway.
As a movie scene, people started trooping in their hundreds to the SEMA warehouse by Nitel office, Bukuru, in the early hours Saturday, having been informed that the place has been broken into. It became a free-for-all affair as those who made it to the store helped themselves with what they could lay their hands on. Other stores that were also broken into are the JIB warehouse and other stores along Bukuru Expressway. The journey for some was long and tedious, but were determined to have a share. As a result of the tension, it was difficult getting comments from any individual or official. In Jos, Caleb Gochin, NTA News.
Operation Safe Haven in Plateau State has paraded some 118 youths apprehended at Dogon Duse area in Nasarawa, Gwang-Jos, following a break in one of the State Ministry of Agriculture warehouse, where some hoodlums ransacked the place and carted away with some bags of fertilizers, water pumps, machines, insecticides, and other farm inputs Sunday morning. Officials of the operation said the arrest was made in compliance with the directive of the Plateau State government, and the suspects will eventually be handed over to appropriate authorities. Plateau State Governor Simon Bakola Long has directed the reinstatement of the 24-hour curfew earlier relaxed. The curfew, which began 4 p.m. yesterday, Saturday, 24th October 2020 in Jos North and South local government areas, was announced in a statewide broadcast by the governor. Priscilla Grumnan reports.
The reinstatement of the 24-hour curfew followed the breaking of warehouses where palliatives delivered to the state by the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development last week, awaiting distribution, were carted away by hoodlums. This looting, according to the governor, has spread to other facilities and is gradually degenerating, thereby threatening the peace and security of the state.
To avoid further escalation, I hereby direct the immediate reinstatement of the 24-hour curfew, earlier relaxed, from 4 p.m. today, 24th October 2020, in Jos South and Jos North local government areas till further notice. By this, security agencies are directed to enforce the curfew and ensure that all violators are arrested and prosecuted. I call on all citizens and stakeholders to continue to cooperate with government in ensuring the peace and progress of Plateau State.
It would be recalled that government had on Friday, the 23rd of October 2020, relaxed the curfew in the two local government areas from the hours of 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. after a careful assessment of the situation. In Jos, Priscilla Grumnan, NTA News.
The Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development has warned the public that the wheat seeds carted away by Hoodlums from the National Agricultural Seed Council's warehouse in Bukuru, Jos, Plateau State are poisonous and not fit for human consumption. A statement by the Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development says the wheat seeds have been treated with agrochemicals and intended for planting during the forthcoming dry season wheat production. The ministry appeals to the public not to consume these seeds, but report any such found to the nearest security agency. The city of Calabar Saturday morning came under attack by hoodlums who went on rampage, burning and looting private and public property, including the Nigerian Television Authority, Calabar. This is despite a 24-hour curfew declared by the Cross River State government. Mia Ogidi has the story.
Those allegedly protesting police brutality are even getting more brutal than the police. It was rather a sad one in NTA Calabar, Cross River State, as suspected hoodlums operating under the shadow of the NSAS protest literally swept every pin in the station, from the studio to the control room, editing suite, transmitter, plant house, cameras, computers, personal items, down to the destruction of 2 operational vehicles. The NTA Star Times office was also not spared.
Something you could not pull away, they destroyed it with hammer. They destroyed all the vehicles, our transmitter, our electronics, ACs, everything is gone. What kind of thing is this? Height of wickedness in human being.
The State WAEC office, NYSC Secretariat, NDDC, Cross River State Basin Development Authority share the same fate with NTA.
This is Senator Victor Ndomaegba's house in flames right now.
Still in Cross River State, the rampaging hoodlums attacked the private home of the former Senate leader Victor Ndomaegba, as well as businesses and houses of prominent personalities in the state vandalized. Mia Ogidi, NTA News.
Also in Ilorin, Kwara State, hoodlums Friday night looted goods and destroyed property with several million of naira. Kende Omolosho reports that the hoodlums unleashed thieves on Kwara Mall, among others.
This is the Ilorin cargo terminal where it all started on Friday. The hoodlums, after looting the food items kept here, proceeded to other locations in Ilorin metropolis. Although the popular NSAS protests have subsided in the state and protesters are off the streets, some youths in their hundreds unleashed mayhem in some parts of Ilorin as they engaged in looting spree and destruction of property. Kwara Mall, which houses ShopRite, 2 commercial banks and many other shops, were the worst hit as all shops within and around the area were looted and destroyed by the hoodlums. Kwara Agro Mall and stores where NEMA's relief materials are kept were not spared in the process as office equipment and relief materials were carted away by the hoodlums. Men of the Nigerian Customs Service were able to repel an attack on their facility by the armed hoodlums, but not without casualties as 2 of their officers were seriously wounded. Security operatives in the state, according to CP Kayode Egbetoku, are on top of the situation and many arrests have been made.
I affirm again and again our commitment to the protection of lives and properties and the protection of human rights of residents and visitors alike in Kwara State. I, however, want to make it clear that criminal elements cannot and will not enjoy our protection.
He warned parents to prevail on their children and words not to join the bandwagon of lawbreakers, as anybody caught in the process would be made to face the full wrath of the law. Meanwhile, the 24-hour curfew declared by Governor Abdulrahman Abdulrazak late Friday night is fully in force as security men were on ground at strategic locations to ensure full compliance. Kehinde Omolosho, NTA News.
The Minister of Women Affairs, Pauline Tallinn, has called on the youths of Plateau State to remain calm as government is doing everything possible to address their grievances. The minister stated this while condoling Governor Simon Bako Lalong over the unfortunate happening in the state. The minister assured Plateau State government that the federal government, under the leadership of President Muhammadu Buhari, is working round the clock in containing all the burning issues the country is witnessing in the last 2 weeks.
I'm here to also encourage you in solidarity and to commend the prompt action we took when this situation was getting out of hand. Your prompt intervention and declaring the curfew has saved the situation very positively. And I'm here on behalf of the federal government as a daughter of the soil to join you in solidarity, to move round and speak to our elders, community leaders, religious leaders, and our youths.
Responding, Plateau State Governor appreciated President Muhammadu Buhari for the high-power delegation led by one of the senior citizens of the state, Dem Pauline Talin, to sympathize and encourage them to do more in handling issues affecting the state.
So again, we didn't want to take a hard measure. We used force on them, allowed them. They took them from there, they moved to private properties. That was why again we have imposed another curfew in the state. It is not our making to continue to enforce curfew because this is the time that businesses are beginning to pick up. People who suffered during the lockdown, most of them, it's not everybody that got palliative, but everybody wants to go back to business. And some good rooms are not allowing people to go back to business.
The governor also told the minister that he has been interacting with various interest groups in finding lasting solution to the ugly situation. The minister thereafter visited the Bongom Jos, that Jacob Gangbuba, and many prominent citizens of the state. This is News Panorama. More reports after this break. Stay with us.
For now, the best and most efficient way to avoid getting infected is through regular hygienic and sanitary practices, as well as social distancing. As individuals, we remain the greatest weapon to fight this pandemic. By washing our hands regularly with clean water and soap, disinfecting frequently used surfaces and areas, coughing into a tissue or elbow, and strictly adhering to infection prevention control measures in health facilities, we can contain this virus.
Coronavirus is real. Steps to avoid this pandemic. Wash your hands regularly or sanitize your hands. Keep social and physical distancing. Avoid crowded places. Stay at home unless absolutely necessary. Don't touch your eyes, nose, or mouth if your hands are not clean. Avoid the spread of coronavirus. Coronavirus is real.
Nigerian Center for Disease Control, NCDC, has confirmed 48 new cases of COVID-19 in Nigeria. The latest figures released brings the total number of confirmed cases in the country to 61,930. A breakdown of the new cases from 6 states indicates that Lagos State recorded the highest number with 18 new cases, followed by FCT with 13 new cases, and Kaduna State is next with 6 new cases. Other states are Rivers and Ogun with 5 new cases each, while Ondo State recorded 1. With this development, 57,285 cases have been discharged, while 1,129 deaths have been recorded so far. It is the collective responsibility of citizens at all levels to make practical efforts at entrenching the culture of peace and upholding the sanctity of human life. This was the consensus of key players at a strategic engagement convened by Governor Simon Lalong on the heels of the End SARS protest, which turned violent, with a view to charting a way forward for a lasting peace in the state. Priscilla Grumnan reports.
The End SARS protests in Plateau State took an ugly turn when hoodlums attacked and molested innocent citizens with destruction of lives and properties, a development that led to the imposition of a 24-hour curfew in 2 local government areas of the state. This session of strategic engagement with traditional rulers, community and religious leaders, and natives within and outside the state is to therefore rub minds and come up with concrete suggestions in consolidating on the now calm atmosphere in the state.
Whenever such things are happening, our brothers in faith should think twice before joining hands, before aligning with the people who are out to do things that are quite not in tune with the way we do things here.
I don't know when NSAS has turned out to be a religious problem. People have their places of worship. They have nothing to do with this right.
I would like to suggest, number one, Your Excellency, that you meet with these young protesters, the End SARS protesters.
If the protest is going on, let us have protesters duly registered. Let there be a leader of the protesters known by the government.
Other critical players commended the proactive steps taken by the government to curtail the situation, but advised that more attention be paid on early warning signs.
Here to resolve issues and to ensure that we fashion out a very peaceful and cordial Plateau State where we will all live in peace.
I want the curfew to be completely total.
Psychosocial support at different levels. It must be institutionalized from the family level, religious institutions, formal government institutions, traditional institutions.
Governor Simon Lalong said his administration will do everything to ensure a peaceful state and warned that criminally minded people will have no hiding place in the state.
You should engage and sensitize your people to the fact that violence has no place in a new Plateau that we are nurturing, rather than embarking on destruction of lives and properties at the slightest provocation. There are legitimate avenues to ventilate grievances in a democracy.
Concrete suggestions arrived at the end of the engagement were adopted as working document towards strengthening the peace architecture in the state. From the government house in Little Rayfield, Priscilla Grumnan, NTA News.
Honest dialogue with a view to finding lasting solutions to yearnings of the youths and pushing Nigeria forward is necessary to put an end to the End SARS protest. This was the view of some key players who shared their perspectives on the ongoing protest, which has led to violence in some parts of the country. Ekemeren Kanengladoja reports.
The hashtag #EndSARS protest has been on for over a week in different parts of the country, but of recent has experienced attacks by thugs who have in many places hijacked the protests. These key players say that the protesters, who are mostly youths, should give a listening ear to government, as well as suspend protests so that government can meet their demands.
They should now go back and wait. If these issues are never properly addressed to, they still have the right to come out and remind government.
Their agitations have been registered. Government are working on it, so they should give them a time. They should identify with the government, appoint leaders to dialogue with the government so that they can be part of the reform that they ask for.
I thereby urge them to discontinue the protest.
Having spent so much time at home due to the COVID-19 lockdown, as well as the ongoing ASU strike, are some of the reasons that may have led to the bursting of pent-up anger.
You don't stand to gain anything from destroying those things that are meant to bring succor to them. If you burn a school or a market or a shop of a trader, you are destroying the community. So they should please take the good part.
It's reaction. And then it's good that they reacted. They have the right to protest, but they don't have right for vandalism and breakages and looting.
To our youths, let them know that tomorrow is theirs. So let them not destroy it by their actions of today. They have to bear this in mind in whatever they do.
They also insist that all forms of brutality and attack on protesters come to an end, as they appealed to security agencies to protect the lives and properties of all Nigerians. In Jos, Ekemeren Kaningladuja, NTA News.
Plateau State has been selected among the north-central states for the siting of an oncology center to be situated at Jos University Teaching Hospital, Jos. Chairman, House Committee on Health Institutions, Dr. Pascal Chigozie Obi, dropped this cheering news when he led members of the committee on a courtesy visit to Governor Simon Lalong at the old government house in Rayfield. Priscilla Grumnan reports that the governor also received in audience members of the House Committee on FEMA and a delegation from the Federal Ministry of Agriculture.
Chairman, House Committee on Health Institutions, said the committee is in the state on oversight visit to assess the state of health institutions situated in Plateau State. He explained that the increased rates of cancer has necessitated the siting of cancer centers in each of the 6 geopolitical zones of the country by the federal government.
The cancer increases, the menace of cancer increases on a daily basis, and there are no equipment to confront it in the country. So we moved that motion, and it was approved that each of the geopolitical zones must have an oncology center. I want to gladly inform Your Excellency that the University of Jos Teaching Hospital is the one chosen for the national. And in this 2021 budget, there is a budgetary provision of 1.5 billion for each of these 6 oncology centers.
Governor Lalong underscored the importance of health institutions in serving the health needs of the people and expressed delight at the siting of the oncology center in the state, pledging government's intervention in some of the challenges being faced by the institutions.
So I also want to add my voice, just like you mentioned, that there are things that we're supposed to do, we'll do our best. The ones that we'll do our best, even go beyond to assist and see that the institution gets back to its name as one of the best health institutions in Nigeria.
Similarly, the governor received members of the House Committee on FEMA, led by its chairman, Richard Bamishile, who told the governor that they were in the state to assess activities of the agency and to seek areas of collaboration with the.
And on the sporting scene, Minister of Sports Sunday Dare clears air on indefinite postponement of National Sports Festival Edo 2020. Adenike Kenan is our guide on sports updates.
The Minister of Youth and Sports Development, Sunday Dare, has denied reports that the Edo 2020 National Sports Festival has been postponed indefinitely, noting that a final decision has not been made. A statement from the Sports Ministry clarified that consultations are still on between the ministry, the Edo State government, the Presidential Task Force for COVID-19, and the National Council on Sports to decide on a new date to host the sports festival, considering a staggered festival spanning several weeks without spectators. In another development, Nigeria's Flying Eagles will be hoping to book the ticket for the 2021 Under-20 African Cup of Nations scheduled for Mauritania when it takes on the Under-20 side of Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire in the forthcoming WAFA Cup taking place in Togo from the 18th of November to 2nd of December. The Flying Eagles have appeared in 17 AFCON, winning it 7 times and played at the WAFA Cup twice with a silver medal in 2018.
Having them in the same group is going to be tough. When they go there, if that determination, that Nigerian spirit will give them a chance.
The 2020 CAVP elections holding this weekend online for the first time due to the coronavirus pandemic will see the 2 top contestants going for the post of president. The incumbents, Dr. Amir Elwani and Bushra Ajiji, who has been an active elective member of the board of directors of the African Volleyball Confederation. In the English Premier League, there will be 3 matches on Sunday. Southampton pays host to Everton.